you don't want to make any major purchases prior or during. Anything you want to buy, do it after. Take the vacation after, buy the car after, because at the end of the day, the car that I bought, it's not an income producing asset. You want to put your income producing assets first, and then everything else after is a luxury. Don't max your credit cards out. Lenders look at different things, and different lenders have different down payment programs and opportunities and requirements. You have property taxes, you have HOA if you go on an HOA, you have, which can be very costly actually.
Very.
And a lot of people don't look for that when they're buying. So I was checking the foundation, make sure there was no cracks in the foundation. I was walking around turning on the pipes, the faucets, turning on the lights. There's always room for negotiation.
Always.
Always.
Hello everyone, we're back again. Welcome to my channel, Hear Me Out. I am super excited that you guys are tuning in today because we have a special guest with us. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about real estate, right? And I know that we've been talking about how to get your first rental property, how to start investing, but I have a special guest today, a real estate agent, a real estate investor that could give you the one-on-one tips on how you can get started. So I have my guest here, Dominique. Welcome, Dominique. Cheers. We have the tea today for Dom, and I cannot wait for us to dive in. Dominique is a real estate investor that got started in Atlanta 3 years ago, and now she's on her journey, has already gotten her real estate license, and is a real estate agent in the DMV area. So obviously, if you need an agent in the DMV area, tap into Dominique. Can you just give us a brief back how you got started, what made you want to get into real estate and investing?
Okay, so I got started in investing in real estate in 2021, as you said, 3 years ago. And one of the reasons why I wanted to was at that point we were in COVID, and I was monitoring the home rates. They dropped significantly.
Yeah.
So it was like an advantage for anyone buying. It was basically a buyer's market then. And so Atlanta was, homes are priced like fairly cheaper there.
Depending the area.
Depending the area, yeah.
Yeah.
But and I was doing my nursing thing, and I said, okay, I'm gonna do a travel contract over there. I've always wanted a vacation home apart from the family home, and I was like, well, if I can get a home over there, and we can use it for Airbnb throughout the year, and then I can refer back to it as my vacation home when I need time off. That was my goal. I did a contract, and then I decided that, okay, I'm gonna go with home in a metro like Atlanta area, something close to the airport, because location is very important. So that's pretty much how I got into investing. And then I bought the home. It didn't take long. I had a really good realtor down there, and that's what inspired me to get into real estate, my realtor. So that, and just my love, I realized after starting the Airbnb and seeing the financial freedom that it brings, I decided that I want to continue investing in real estate and become an agent. So
had you ever done it before? Like, had you ever ran your own Airbnb? So you just dove right in and was like, I'm gonna do this.
I YouTube University, and I'm
tell them.
So I was watching someone just like Yana that was giving all the tea, and I decided to just pretty much dive in
and believe in yourself.
That's it. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't take risks in life, you won't make it. Like, you have to take risks. It's a part of it. You win some, you lose some. But if you don't give up, then you don't fail.
Yes. So. And I just want to preface this that Dominique is an amazing, beautiful woman that has lovely children. And if she can balance, I'm just saying that if you can balance being an amazing mother and running your own business and still trying to go for what you want in life, there's no excuse for us not to get up, go on YouTube University, click on Hear Me Out podcast, watch Yana's videos on real estate, entrepreneurship, and investing, and equip yourself with the tools for you to get one step closer to financial freedom. With this economy that we have right now, one job is not enough.
It is not.
Like, the bills are coming, like the one job is not enough, especially if you want to be on vacation.
Exactly.
So tell me how it was for you, like, working, and I know that you did a travel contract, and then you were, you know, setting up your space, but were there any hurdles that you experienced during closing and setting it up? And like, did you think that, you know, I know you said you bought it, but did you ever try to look at other financing options? Like, just take me through step by step. Like, I don't know nothing about this, and kind of break it down for me, you know, let us get an understanding of how you were feeling, what the thoughts were going on in your head, and how you kind of conquered that, you know?
Okay, so I really didn't know anything either. Not per se that I didn't know anything, but it was my first home purchase. And I was also kind of going in, you know, a little bit, I wouldn't say unprepared. I was prepared from everything that I researched and everything, but you know, there's a first time for everything, and you do face little hurdles or little misconceptions. So with the home buying process, the first thing you do, obviously, you get pre-approved. And so during that time, I had a lender, and the first lender that we worked with pre-approved me for like a really low amount. And my realtor was like, doesn't make sense. So he's gonna go ahead and
get you another lender.
Get me another lender.
You gotta shop around.
So thank you. So I was new, so I didn't know. So I was just like, oh, okay, I think that's the end of it. I didn't know you can use multiple lenders at one time. So that's something I didn't know coming in. So he kind of shopped around and he got me pre-approval, which was much higher. I mean, like, it was $80,000 higher.
Wow.
So that was a hurdle. Like, different lenders look at different things, and different lenders have different down payment programs and opportunities and requirements. So one of my hurdles was, you know, getting the best pre-approval possible. But my realtor, which is why you should always have a professional represent you, got me through that. And when I got approved, I was able to look at, you know, way more, obviously, bigger variety and properties and better locations.
So how did you end up finding the right property? Did you start looking after you got your pre-approval? Did you go looking with your agent? Like, kind of walk us through how you were able to land on the property and say, okay, this is the property for me. And then what were the steps that you took to, you know, submitting your offer and making sure that you got the right deal?
Okay, so me and my agent at the time, we would go back and forth. We would send properties. It's like a little fight. And I think that happens with all real estate. You know, you think, oh, I want this, I want that. And then the realtor's like, realistically, you know, it was a back and forth thing.
They bring you back down.
Yes. I used to drive around also in neighborhoods, just drive around, survey the neighborhood. Before there was even a showing, once I saw it on Zillow or Redfin, wherever, you know, I would go there and then just survey before I waste my time to go to the showing. You know, because you want to survey the area.
So smart.
I mean, so I kind of surveyed the area, and then my house is 11 minutes from the airport. Like you said, location matters. Because a lot of times people want to get off their flight, especially if they're coming to your Airbnb, and they don't want to have to drive, depending on where they're coming from, especially if you have a long flight. Nobody wants to drive another long 40 minutes, 30 minutes. So I looked at the fact that it was 11 minutes from the airport. That was one. Around me, there's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Like, middle of Atlanta downtown is like 25 minutes away.
That's perfect.
You know, we have shopping centers, parks. We have everything around, you know. So those are the things that I wanted to basically look at. And it's still in a suburban area, so it's still also safe. So that's what I looked at. Location was the number one thing that I looked at.
When you did your walkthrough, how was that?
So in my walkthrough to purchase the home, like, forget about, you know, just focusing on the home only. I wanted to make sure, because you also go with an inspector, and the inspector will do the most part, but there are red flags that you yourself can, you know, look at. And, you know, I was checking the foundation, make sure there was no cracks in the foundation. I was walking around turning on the pipes, the faucets, turning on the lights.
Was it like a fixer-upper? Like, did you decide that you want to do kind of like a fixer-upper, or was it kind of like a ready-to-move-in property?
So it was ready to move in, but it was ready to move in, but you know, to your own liking. I did change like chandelier fixtures, but that was it. It was more aesthetic things. But the property itself was actually, it was ready.
That's perfect. And it was right by the stadium, right by the airport. So even if they have events, like, you know, they're gonna be booked.
They were booked
25 minutes from Atlanta where the clubs are, so people are ready to get their Uber and go. So
they were partying.
That's like a hot location, and I know that you're probably gonna be sitting in equity, because with locations like that, like in the stadium, there's just gonna be more buildings. If there's a Chick-fil-A around that corner, girl, your equity is going up.
The Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. So how did you go about submitting your offer? Like, if you don't mind, just give us the details. Did you negotiate? Because I know for my house, I negotiated, child.
That is the best way. That is the best way.
Yeah.
There's always room for negotiation.
Always.
And that is what actually should be done all the time. Because a lot of times people tend to overprice sometimes properties, you know. And I get it, sellers, they want to sell, but sometimes you find properties a little bit overpriced. So negotiating is key. There's no, I mean, you can't really lose, because even if they say no, at the end of the day, if the price is too high, it's not, you don't want to get
it. Has to make sense with your numbers, right?
Thank you, exactly.
And I love how you're like, so you already knew what you were looking for, because if, say, you get a property where your mortgage is way higher than the income that your Airbnb is going to be bringing in, then you're working at a deficit. And then imagine if something comes up that you need to repair.
Thank you.
That's even worse,
That's what people don't think about when buying. When buying homes, they don't think about, like, a lot of first-time buyers, they just think, okay, we're going to buy the house, we just need down payment. You got to think about closing costs, repair costs, insurance. You know, there's a lot, property taxes. It's not just buying the home, maintaining the home. So I did try to negotiate. My realtor, we tried to negotiate. We got a little pushback, so we actually went up. And the reason why is because I went there on a contract, and I literally was trying to get it done within 3 months. So I didn't have that time. So I was like, okay, whatever, just put $5,000 above the asking price. So that's what we actually did. And then we won the contract. So, but I wouldn't, if you're not like time
sensitive, don't rush it.
No.
Okay.
No, don't. Okay. And then remember, it was really low, so I was still able to afford it, and I wasn't at a deficit. Like, the rates were really low.
Yeah, because you stuck to your pre-approval. A lot of people, they'll have a pre-approval letter, and then they'll try, like, say if you're pre-approved for like 300,000, they will look for 400,000 homes. And that's not possible, because you can't negotiate $100,000 down. Like, you have to be realistic with what you can afford, because it's not just the price of the home that is going to be your final total. It's your closing fees, your transfer taxes, your PMI. Like, there's so many things that come into play. So I'm happy that you had an amazing agent that could help you, and now you could pass that knowledge down, because you're an agent now. You're a real estate agent in the DMV. So take us how you transitioned. How were you able to find your tenants? How were you able to prepare it to be listed? And how did you manage your property since you were not in the same state at that time?
I feel like maybe, let's say, to be fully ready, like about 20 days, because I already budgeted
for
short. I budgeted for it. I had it budgeted. So basically, I ordered a lot of things from Amazon. Like, my neighbors would be looking like, what the heck? There would be like boxes piled up. I remember boxes. And like, you know, they would sit there for days sometimes, because I was flying back and forth in between the process. But luckily it's a great neighborhood, so nobody touched anything. So I ordered from Amazon, and I ordered from what is that place called? Wayfair.
Okay.
So a lot of my stuff was delivered, and I had to build it up only because I got deals. I saw prices and deals and discounts more than going into the furniture store. Of course, Facebook Marketplace was also my friend.
Like, just because it's Airbnb, and like, if someone trashes or rips, I don't want to get upset. I could just go to, you know, Salvation Army, depending on what it is, like couches, major items, I get those in the thrift store. I clean it steam my couch, make it fresh, like everything, because you have to be cost effective. You know, especially when you're getting started. So I think a lot of people may have jobs, some may not have jobs, so you have to give them a way where they can be able to do what will fit their income.
For bookings, I did within the first week. Actually, I got bookings because of the location, and those people like to party, and that's why they can party over there. So the first week I got my first booking, and then there's another thing where there's like corporate bookings. So corporate companies are also on Airbnb.
That's amazing.
And those are that's the big money. Like,
that's where the money is.
That's where the money is. So the first booking was for like $350, and it was like 2 days because I'm new, so I ran a sale. When you're new to Airbnb,
you did it down.
Yeah,
you have to go at a discount for the first 3 bookings, like 20% discount. Yeah, I feel you, girl.
The first booking within like that first week, and they came in. It was 2 people. They were honest. You know, and they stuck to 2 people.
Okay.
You know, sometimes
they be trying to sneak it in.
Yes. And so they were good. My cleaner, you know, they came out. It was about 2 days. They came out, and everything was, you know, perfectly fine.
Cleaning is so important when you have like a rental property, because you want to make sure that everywhere is set for the next people that are coming. So how were you able to vet your cleaners and find the right cleaners for your property?
So there's an app called TaskRabbit. I use a lot of things. I went to Facebook groups because there's a lot of Facebook Atlanta cleaners, their groups. I looked a lot of different places, and I had quite a few cleaners because it's a lot. The cleaners make your business, because if they don't clean your property perfectly, especially if you're not there,
exactly,
you can do everything right, but they are the backbone of your business. So, and not only do they clean, they also restock. So it's like, I found cleaners, and it would be through Thumbtack, TaskRabbit, Facebook Marketplace groups, and literally just my neighborhood, like literally Home Depot, because they hang out
at the lot, right?
Yeah, they hang out.
You already know.
So there was Home Depot, but I did have one. The longest cleaner I had was for like 6 months, and she was really good. She moved to Texas. I found her on Thumbtack, and she was very affordable. So I cried about that because she was good. And I would order things to my house with Instacart because I wasn't there. So like to refill the snacks. Yeah, and there was like a closet that only she had a key to. So she would stock everything. Toiletries, snacks. And whenever she cleans, she comes, she opens it and puts everything back in place.
Wow.
So
you had a whole system.
She was, my cleaner went in, did her job, and I was so excited for my first payout because I'm like, finally.
Like this is real.
You know, you hear people talk about it, and then you're like, finally, I did it.
You see the cha-ching in your account.
Yes.
Like, the struggle was worth it.
Yes, exactly.
I'd like to transition now into you going from real estate investor to real estate agent. You know, talk to me about your process of getting started as a real estate agent. What has your journey been? And like, because a lot of people are thinking about becoming a real estate agent or even investing in real estate. So please give us the rundown of how you were able to become an agent and how you're seeing the market right now.
Okay. I decided to dive into the real estate agent part because I want to continue doing more investing, and real estate is so broad. I felt like I want to get a first-hand, experience and knowledge, which brought me to going to school. So I took a 2-week course with Long & Foster School of Real Estate, and I wanted to just do it. It was an accelerated course. I wanted to just do it one time and be done. I didn't want to drag it out. And the school itself was really good. My instructor was really good. So I passed when I took the exam, and after taking the exam, I was kind of in between 2 brokerages, and I decided to go with Keller Williams. So I'm now a Keller Williams agent. Thank you. Shout out Keller Williams. And basically, I really wanted to do it because I know that in the future, I'm going to be buying more properties. And I don't want anybody to kind of like
get your 3%.
Yeah, I can make money off.
You can make your own 3%. Yeah.
And I keep giving like people referrals. Like my auntie wanted to buy a house, and I gave it to my realtor.
Money could just be you.
And so that was the reason why I'm tired of making referrals when I'm not getting a referral fee, and I could be making this money myself.
Exactly. So. And you're an investor, so like now you can start going into like tax liens and foreclosures.
Thank you. Probate.
Exactly. Okay.
Yes.
So what now is like, what is an advice that you would give to people trying to get started in real estate? Do you think that 2025 is the right year for people? Say you've never invested and they want to get started. Do you think 2025 is the right year still? Like, is the market hot? Like, is it affordable? Can someone that's never done it still get started?
So I think first it starts with a mindset and a mentality. Because there's never going to be a right time to do anything.
Yeah.
You kind of just got to hit the ground running. Even if you don't know, you kind of just, you learn as you go. I remember when I was buying and they were saying that, oh, the interest rate is a little bit high. We're going to wait until it goes down. And the interest rate has only gone up. So
skyrocket.
It's like you're going to keep waiting and wait. And it's going up. It's going up. And who knows, it's estimated that it will go down slightly this 2025. However, as the interest rate is going down, the home prices are going up. So it's kind of just like
give or take.
Yeah,
there's no perfect
timing. Just do it scared, do it broke. Well, not all the way broke because you need some money, but you get what I mean. Just do it, and things will fall into place. I would say that this is still a good market to invest in. Yeah. Because your equity is going to double, like, irregardless. The prices are going up, so your equity is going to grow.
They already know. I've told them, like, if you guys have already not watched in our last video, how to buy your first rental property, I talk about down payment. I talk about equity. I talk about cash flow. There's so many things. You may be thinking, oh, it's not the right time right now. Like, are you kidding me? Like, home prices are super high. Imagine how high home prices are gonna be when interest rate drop to like 4 or 5%. Right now people are still buying, so there's not a right time. Don't shut yourself out and say, oh, I'm gonna wait. Take the high interest rate now, and you can always refinance.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to say.
You can always refinance, right?
And you're building generational wealth.
Yeah, so financial freedom.
You're investing in yourself. So, and the refinance.
You refinance, take that equity out, and rinse and repeat.
You can do a HELOC pull. Yeah, exactly. Take the equity out, use that as a down payment on your next property, rinse, repeat, and then you'll be able to own several properties.
Exactly.
But you got to start with one first, so.
You better let them know.
Yes.
You better let them know, girl. And you mentioned something very important, do it broke. And it's so crucial because right now people can barely afford a meal or anything like that. But I know that we talked about how we went about it and, going through the realtor, and it's great to go through a realtor, but you can also have a realtor that is good at creative financing that can help you do things such as seller financing, where you don't have to put a huge down payment. You can negotiate with the seller, and the key is for you to have a motivated seller.
Yes. Are you a realtor,
girl?
Are you sure,
girl? Having the right team around you will open so many doors and opportunities for knowledge for you. So
you're not created equal.
No, don't think that you need a lot of money. You can get started whether you're buying it, whether you're seller financing and talking to them and saying, hey, I want to do this and this and this. Will you allow me to make payments to you instead of the bank? So there's so many different approaches that you can take to doing it. What is your take on it as an agent? Or do you think that right now people should go the traditional way, or do you think that any way that you can get into it, you should? Any way that you can get in, like you said, get in where you fit in, you should. There's, rent to own, like you said. I don't want to misquote this. I don't know if it's called ground leasing. I'm trying to remember the terminology. Look at my brain. But what you said, is it land lease, where basically, what you said, you bypass the banks and you go ahead and you pay monthly with the seller. You don't even accumulate interest. Exactly.
That is another way.
It depends though, because if the seller still has a mortgage on their house, then you will be taking over their mortgage payments, right?
And everything.
But if the seller doesn't have a mortgage on their house and the house is owned free and clear, then you can go ahead and make a contract with the seller.
I think, and I don't know if it's just lack of knowledge, but a lot of times people just think that when you say, okay, I want to buy a home, which is why it's really good to go to seminars or get thoroughly educated before, because buying a home, investing and buying a home, different things, but buying a home that's your personal home, any home for that matter, is one of the biggest, most costly things you're going to do in your life. That's the biggest decision you're going to make, a $500,000 decision. Maybe less, maybe more. You really want to realize that it doesn't just end at buying the home. That's literally just the beginning. There's so much misconception where people just say, oh, I just need my down payment money and I'm good. No. And it's also not just about having money either. It's about having good credit. And you can still have good credit. I've seen people with a $700 credit score, and they have bad payment history. So it's not just about, a misconception is you thinking that because your credit score is 700 that you have great approval odds, whereas a person that can have 650 gets better or more, a higher approval than you because they look at payment history. There's also the debt to income ratio.
Utilization.
Utilization. That's a big one, which should be under 30%.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a credit expert, but of course, when you meet with your lender and stuff, they tell you, and then you can reach out to a credit expert to help you, which takes maybe like 1 to 6 months to clean up your credit so you can be in the best, have the best buying power. But the misconception, those are some misconceptions like, oh, my credit. Well, we got to look at your actual credit transactions, utilization, like you said, late payments, all of that. And then also not remembering that at the end, you have property taxes. You have HOA, if you go on an HOA. You have, which can be very costly, actually.
Very.
And a lot of people don't look for that when they're buying. Some realtors don't tell them about HOA.
They just
rules.
let you,
They just see a house and like, oh, I want this. You got to know about your HOA, rules and regulations, man. They can be a pain. And then, there's homeowners insurance. There's so many things like
there's PMI insurance.
From my own personal experience, I bought a Mercedes-Benz. I was thinking I'm a big girl now, and then about 6 months later, 6 to 8 months, I think that's when I decided I wanted to go and buy my home. Yes, I paid down, I made payments, but that made my debt to income ratio higher. So one of the things when you're buying a home, you don't want to make any major purchases prior or during. Anything you want to buy, do it after. Take the vacation after, buy the car after. Because at the end of the day, the car that I bought, it's not an income producing asset. You want to put your income producing assets first, and then everything else after is a luxury. It's a liability actually, but a house is never going to be a liability. So that's something that I wish I knew before buying. And also my credit cards, again, don't max your credit cards out because I did, and I had to pay them off before closing. So that's something that I didn't know being a first time buyer. They told me, hey, you got to pay these off. They gave me a pre-approval, but then in the middle of the process, they're like, you got to pay these down before closing. So I was happy they were lenient. They worked with me about that. And also, just don't give up because it's not a one-day thing. Luckily, my process went a little bit okay. It was smooth. It didn't take too long for me to find a home. But my home that I live in, like my family home, it took 9 months. And it's okay to switch your realtor. I won't be the realtor you switch, obviously.
Tell them, girl, you're patient.
But, for our home, we kind of had to switch our realtor because, they just were not living all the way up to what they could have. And we spent 6 months with them, and we spent 2 months with our realtor that we switched to, and our offer was accepted. Wow. So you have to be patient. You will put in offers, and there's some people that will outbuy you, outbid you. So even if your offer is the best offer and the person wants money, they're going to go with the person, that has more money. So it's not necessarily your realtor, your offer, I used to write letters also. I don't know if people still do that nowadays. Whenever I saw a home, I used to write letters to add a personal touch. And that's something that I encourage some of my clients to do. Write a letter, tell them who you are, what you do, why you would love to move in their house. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But don't be discouraged. It doesn't, happen in one day. You will get your dream home eventually, and it'll be worth the wait. So...
those are some great gems. Those are some great gems, child, because I wish I knew that. I was looking at buying a car too, I had just gotten my sister, so you did amazing. Yeah. I'm so thankful for you coming on the show. I hope that you guys were able to get as many gems as you could. If you have any questions, you know, I know you're going to have a lot of questions, burning questions to ask. Comment down below. Make sure that, you know, you let us know what you're thinking. What's your take on this? What do you want to hear next? I can always have Dominique come back and drop some more gems for you. So thank you guys so much again. And if you're looking for a realtor in the DMV area, I've already put Dominique's contact information in the description box below. Make sure that you check it out, ask questions, and if you have any questions at all, comment it down below as well. You never know who else has those same questions, and we can build a community to help each other out. Stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about how I fumbled $1 million deal.
I have to interrupt you.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you as well to Yana for having me on the show. She is amazing. And she is so educated on all these topics that she's talking about. Like, she can literally... She is just amazing. She's educated, you know, and she doesn't keep things. She tells you the real deal. So she's just awesome. That's all.
You're awesome. I want to say thank you, girl. Like, you're educated. Dominique actually motivated me for Airbnb because I was like, what? You have Airbnb in Atlanta? I want to move to Atlanta. So I just got started, so thank you, girl. That means a lot to me.
And it's beautiful. The Airbnb.
I can't. We need to pull up. You know, let's go have a little weekend.
Is beautiful.
Oh, mine.
Yours is gorgeous. So
thank you, girl. I take everything. I appreciate it. Everything is God. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already. Thank you again. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.